Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. Welcome to another month of IGN First. Our game is Perception, a game you might not know a lot about, but we aim to change that. I'm joined by the creative director on the game, Bill Gardner. You may remember him from such titles as BioShock, BioShock Infinite, and a lot of previous Irrational games. We'll get more into that in a minute, but Bill, welcome, and tell us about this already very unique game we're looking at here.
Cool. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited. Perception is a first-person horror narrative adventure where you play as Cassie, a blind woman who uses echolocation to see. So she is called to this mansion called Echo Bluff up in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and she's pulled there and finds herself wrapped up in this mystery of what happened here. And as she's exploring and answering these questions, she winds up actually traveling back through time, through the history of the house, which is hundreds of years old. In a lot of ways, you're using echolocation to reveal the details of the world as well as the details of the narrative.
There's nothing that could possibly be scary about a game set in a hundred-year-old, centuries-old house
Right.
where you can't see.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that we've always said that information is the enemy of horror, and I think that with echolocation, I think it really taps into that very natural
Phrasing taps into. Sorry.
Oh man, that natural fear that we all have of the unknown. I think a lot of us are afraid of what lurks in the dark, and so with the echolocation in this game in Perception, we're able to turn that into a mechanic, and at the same time also, I think introduce a different perspective on the world and show the world in a different light, and from sort of break a little bit of that mold of like, oh, you're always playing a shooter or a first-person game as a 6-foot-tall burly dude with perfect vision.
Right.
So yeah, I think one of the goals from the get-go was always to try and shake up the narrative of first-person games, but also try and show the world in a different way.
And you and your team know something about first-person games, because as I alluded to at the top, you're a longtime member of Irrational Games.
That's right.
You started there back with SWAT 4. You told me you worked a little bit on Freedom Force, and then of course BioShock and BioShock Infinite.
Absolutely.
And a lot of your team members now at the deep end are fellow ex-Irrational folks as well, yes?
Absolutely. I was lucky enough to spend 12 years at Irrational, where lucky enough to work with amazingly talented people, not just Ken, but people like Nate Wells and Chris Klein, and people who taught me a tremendous amount. And with Perception, we're channeling a lot of what we've all learned over the years and bringing our own twist on first-person narrative. And I was lucky enough to work with a lot of these people, people like Jim Bonney, the audio director on this game. I worked with him for years on BioShock Infinite, and you build a strong rapport with people over the years. And when the opportunity for a game like Perception and to work together again, to continue working together, when that pops up, you jump on it. So exciting for us.
Is it fair to say that environmental storytelling, which is so something that the BioShock games did so well, is a focus here in Perception?
Absolutely. It's a very rich world that we're trying to build here. Echo Bluff is, as you said before, hundreds of years of history and tragedy and mystery. So the way that you'll uncover that mystery is by through exploration and through the environment. Sort of bleeding out a lot of that tragedy and a lot of that mystery. I think in a lot of ways, a lot of lessons learned from the BioShock series and working with Ken and the amazingly talented team at Irrational. But, I think that Perception has a very different spin on what the BioShock series is known for, and very excited to sort of take what I've learned and what I've contributed and run with it.
Well, we're going to be diving into it all month long. Now, I could see how this can be creepy. I saw there was a spider that flashed up for a second. That's never something that's a little creepy right there. Do we have a big bad threat here that's going to thwart our quest to unravel the mystery of the bluff here?
Absolutely. You, as much as the abandoned, that the mansion is abandoned, there is a creature in Echo Bluff known as the Presence. He's the stuff of legend and urban myth. That essentially it's this malevolent being that roams the halls. And actually, I think we've seen some of the warnings here. As I've created noise, oh, there's one right there.
That's not a good sound.
Yes, the house gets angry. The house reacts. It moans and groans. And if you create too much noise, yeah, it'll come and get you.
So maybe play perception with a loved one in the room with the lights on. Is that your suggestion?
Yeah, that is probably the best way to experience it. Oh, no. There we go right now, actually. Oh, and
there he is. Well, we're going to have a ton more on perception all month, including who that is, why it's haunting you, including the full playthrough of a much longer slice of the game. Bill, thank you so much, and please stay tuned all month long to IGN First for more on perception.